What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Movie Race.
Incredibles 3 is certainly something all the Pixar fans are eager to see after The Incredibles 2 achieved to do and outdid the original. The much-anticipated sequel grossed a massive $1.24 billion at the worldwide box office and almost universal critical acclaim, so we're kind of surprised that it's been 2 years now that Pixar hasn't given the green light for a third installment of the superheroic Par family. Pixar's The Incredibles is a type of film where the name says everything you have to know going in. Since it was very impressive 97% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, the animated story of the superpowered Par family's everyday battles and superhero lives continues to be one of the most critically acclaimed superhero films out there. Per Box Office Mojo, the worldwide gross of more than $630 million against a $92 million budget was quite an accomplishment. Still, even though the 2004 film ended with a pretty obvious sequel hook, The Incredibles 2 was released 14 years after. The sequel turned out to be worth the wait, and with it, the world remained devoted to the franchise. All of the speculations for The Incredibles 3 are debatable unless Pixar makes it, and even though there is already a sequel and the box office predictions guarantee the film to be Pixar's greatest hit ever, that is a question mark. Incredibles 2 was released similar to Pixar's early hits such as Finding Dory, Monsters University, and Toy Story 4, which seem to have come from a larger Disney mandate. Mouse House bought Pixar in 2006, although having John Lasseter as the lead of Disney Animation let the Emeryville Titans work unrestricted, which hinted at that initiative for more sequels to be established brands, making it a remarkable decision. But that seems to be over. Pixar's president Jim Morris has commented that the future sequels are coming to an end, with the new Pixar films being made as originals. Because of this, it is most likely that a third installment of the franchise will ultimately be included at some stage. The Incredibles 2 proved to be a big hit, with the general mood from all around noticeably more positive than 2016's Finding Dory. Therefore, the debate about the third movie is almost inevitable from the higher-ups at Disney, putting Bird in charge and the rest of Pixar. So if the mandate is spent, it might be up to the creatives, and with it, we can only ask ourselves how long it would take, and when The Incredibles 2 will be released, and is it going to be made in the first place? It took 14 years for The Incredibles 2 to drop, and we hope we won't have to wait until 2032 for The Incredibles 3 since there haven't been any announcement of the release date. Writer/director Brad Bird doesn't plan to hurry into making it. "I would rather say I'm not closed to it, but it's not on my mind," he told Deadline in November 2018. "It's like the last thing you want to do after swimming in the ocean for a month is going for a swim. I need to do something else for a while, and we'll see what the future has in store." It is unlikely that Pixar would make a third Incredibles film unless Bird was involved, and even if he did decide to make a threequel, we can still expect the delay after the announcement. For the sequel, it took 3 years from announcement to its release, so if by any chance Bird starts working on it this year, we won't be seeing it on the big screen for another 3 at least. This is a difficult one since we don't know when or if The Incredibles 3 will ever happen. The tricky part would be for both the older and younger members of the cast who are voicing the characters. The kids age, so do the adults, and even though the animation medium comes in handy for the visual part here, making the same characters look like they haven't aged from the last film, orally things could change. The same scenario happened with the Huckleberry Milliner cast members for the voice of Dash instead of Spencer Fox from the first movie. Although, if we suppose things stay on track, we could logically expect all of the lead cast members to come back, including Craig T. Nelson as Bob Parr or Mr. Incredible, Holly Hunter as Helen Parr or Elastigirl, Sarah Vowell as Violet Parr, Huckleberry Milliner as Dash Parr, Ellie Fusil as Jack-Jack, Samuel L. Jackson as Frozone, and Brad Bird himself as Edna Miller. Determined by the wait though, Dash could be recast like he was for The Incredibles 2 because they decided to cast a new person that's the correct age of a 10-year-old, instead of having Dash's voice get much deeper. Samuel L. Jackson is expected to return as Frozone, and we can expect Brad Bird to come back as Edna Mode. We have to see if some of the remaining characters will be coming back, although Sophia Bush has expressed herself without wanting to return as the portal-creating superhero Void. It's a great moment for those girls to start hopefully collaborating, whether there's in the continuum left after the second movie or in an eventual third, which I think we're all pulling for, she told EW. Before we dive deep into predicting what the storyline of the threequel could be about, the producer John Walker said that he wouldn't exclude the chance of a third movie, considering the big success the sequel had even after such a long time, but he isn't also very optimistic about the time it could take to make it, adding that, "I wouldn't ever rule it out, and if past is prologue, it'll be another 14 years, and a lot of people will probably need oxygen to make the third one." The Incredibles 2 followed almost the same path, as Helen ventured into her journey of self-realization in all the roles he had taken on. It could be a good idea for the third installment to be centered on the kids, a young adult Pixar movie about 3 superhero kids balancing the exploration of their powers with their everyday school life. That is a whole bunch of stories to start with anyway. It would be like Spider-Man Homecoming or the original Spider-Man movies, but animated and with a completely developed coming-of-age story for Violet and some sibling drama to fill any plot holes. To remind you of an idea from the first movie, remember the scene where the whole family has to ask Dash to come second or beat his competition by only a tiny edge to protect the secret about their powers? That's the kind of idea we are talking about. Although Incredibles 2 continued where the first movie ended, with the Incredibles and Frozone fighting the now tricky villain Underminer, it would make more sense if the third installment featured a time hopping, regardless of the second movie ending similarly. The time jump could lead to Dash being in high school, Violet in college, Jack starting school, and Bob and Helen getting used to this new situation. There are multiple storylines related to each character that can bool into a movie for the whole family. Add in a central villain and a few repeating ones, together with Frozone and Auntie Edna banter, that could outline both incredible movie and a potential third one. Regardless of the time hopping, if it happens or not, it would be interesting to see the superhero family go face to face with the Underminer, who, although was heavily present in the first movie and slightly in the second movie, not to be captured for some reason. Taking the characters ahead, even by a couple of years, would in some way introduce natural growth where a new story can then jump off. One of the kids leaving home and trying to find their path feels like the natural continuation for a franchise about family. Even in an ideal scenario, fans will most probably have to wait for many years for The Incredibles 3 to be made. But as long as Bird doesn't completely drop the idea for it, there's hope. On a related note, we wanted to know, what do you think The Incredibles 3 plot will be about? Let us know in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more amazing videos such as this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching.